they don't think about students at all. Nobody cares about them. There is nowhere to complain. In colleges, the education and attitude towards students better than is in this garbage dump. There is no any details, there is no any personal stories why this person thinks that this university is the best. I feel like they are fake. For example, even paper for some departments, and these teachers may say that students must buy a paper or buy me some instruments. With some mean, greedy teachers, they may do anything to make you pay. Student is not protected. Hello friends, my name is Olga. I am a mature medical student from Ukraine, and this is my vlog. Despite of all revolution and that will of the people that want change, these changes they are so slowly come to our society. And actually I want to talk about corruption in Ukraine, in Ukrainian medical education system, as I am a medical student. And today I want to read to you some translated reviews on one of the most respected and the biggest medical university of Ukraine, National Medical University of Alexander Bogomolets. I think so that there is a huge difference how teachers communicate and interact with international students and with Ukrainian students, because there is a lot of reasons. I think there is different attitude, and one of my previous videos I already told you a little bit, quite not much, about National Medical University of Alexander Bogomolets. I told you there that it is quite respected university of all Ukrainian society. It is the biggest university, it is state university, it is situated in capital of Ukraine, in the center, almost in the center of the capital. And a lot of people respect National Medical University of Alexander Bogomolets. I opened site calls attutude. It means that here a lot of different students, former students or students that are now the students of this university, they may write you their own opinion, their own review on that university. And let's see what people write here about this university. Well, first review, the girl gave 2 stars out of 5 stars. It means that it's quite bad. She called her review, "The university rests only on its former glory." So let's read and comment. So, advantages: located in the capital. Disadvantages: a terrible base. Almost no knowledge is given. Half of the teachers do not explain anything and cannot even answer the question. When I came here, I thought that this is the best medical university in the country, that getting an education here is a great chance, but already in the first year I realized that I was wrong. Now I am on the 5th year and the situation is only getting worse. Let's start with the teachers. Yes, in 5 years I have met some wonderful teachers to whom I am very grateful for the knowledge they have given to me. But most of them do not even know what they doing here. Not coming for a class or coming for 10-15 minutes late, it's a normal practice. Oh gosh, sorry. I will try to read on. I'm sorry, but with the same success, I can study distantly and come every 6 months to take exams. So teachers there do not explain the material. I may comment this situation because in our university I'm feeling the same. Not all people want to explain the material, and for example, on the anatomy classes, the teachers told us that he has too low salary, and so the university doesn't pay him enough money, and so he refused to explain to us the material. And actually he said that it is well known that it's impossible to teach someone if he or she don't want to learn. So you must understand, he said to us, that you only by yourself can learn the anatomy. Some teachers are not very well versed in the material they teach. They cannot answer students' question on the topic of the lesson. I don't know, it is very strange. Maybe they don't want to. There are many teachers who are not interested in what is happening in the world of medicine, and they are stuck on what was 50 years ago. It is true, and I think that some maybe old teachers, and yes, if they quite old, they may teach students what happened in the world of medicine 50 years ago. But I don't see, personally, for me it's not a problem. They know these methods, how to make diagnostics without anything, and it is old methods, but it's not widespread. But anyway, it is very interesting to know them, because who knows what may happen. There are many people who place themselves far above under the students, and every opportunity they hint or just sometimes speak directly that students are more stupid than teachers, and that students are nothing, and these students will not achieve anything in this life. So I think it's a very bad situation if teachers think and show even that they are smarter, that they are better, that they have power. Actually, teachers in Ukraine, especially, they have some power under the students, because they may decide and students will be eliminated from university. It shows that this teacher not good person at all. Unfortunately, in my university, so far I didn't meet such people who directly say that you are stupid, but I believe that some of them, maybe one or two such teachers could be. So let's move on. Students. 20–30% of students of National Medical University of Bogomolets do not understand and know material well. Why they still learning? Because they pay money for it. I mean, corruption. But it's medicine, it's human health. How will then they treat people if they do not have even minimum knowledges? And so she said about example that her one of her group mates even doesn't know which side of the body liver in human's body liver is situated. Well, I don't believe that such a type of medical students exists. That do not know where is the liver situated in human's body. at least you know in which part of the abdomen. It is other side of corruption if we're talking in Ukraine, because actually they study medicine anywhere, and in Ukraine it's really very hard, and a lot of students they really cannot learn everything, and so they afraid to get F. And some of these students, and especially their parents, because they, you know, it's like a former generation, they say that, oh, they're afraid, and they don't want to be eliminated, so they think that it's better to pay something to the teacher, and he may give at least some D mark or E mark or even A mark if this price will be, you know, high. So it is other side of corruption, because some of parents and students and their parents, they want to pay, and even if teacher do not do anything, you know, to make people pay, but his subject or her subject quite difficult, some students want to pay, and actually it is you know, connected with the personality of the teacher. Will she or he take this money from that students? Because in Ukraine not all corrupted, not all teachers in universities, institutes or other not all teachers want to take money, such, you know, and to support this corruption. And so major part of them, they will say no, thank you, I cannot accept that. You may learn at least this, you know, very simple, very brief but main part of whole material, whole subject, and I will give you, for example, D maybe, but I won't accept this, you know, money, because it is corruption. I don't want to support that. But some teachers, they do not demand money from students, but if some of them will give them money, they actually will take it, and they will give you that mark you want to, and unfortunately it happens. Now let's return to National Bogomolets University review. The education system of this university itself. We spend a lot of time on tests, and there is no practice. We just don't have time to learn, to read cardiograms, to go to the you know, hospital, to listen to patients, to go to surgery, and so on, because we have to write tests. And who needs it? The doctor must be able to communicate with the patient, conduct an examination, interpret the results of research, diagnose and prescribe treatments, and give recommendations, but do not memorize the tests database of numerous pages, which moreover are not quite correct. So it is, I think it's wrong that people, they already almost doctors, but they just have to, you know, answer on some, write some tests. Again, according to tests and in some departments, there is also a limit of grades. Only 2 people can get 5, it means A, from the group. 3 or more people can get B or C, and the rest should receive D or E. And it is without comments. It means that some teachers, they think that they shouldn't be so kind, they shouldn't give everyone A marks, and they think that I will give A marks only 2 people out of group, and they don't care about the level of knowledges rest of the group. It will be it will look like they are not corrupted, and it will look like that they are fair, because in general average knowledge is connected with such, you know, proportion of the marks. But I think it's not true, because for example our group and my group mates, they are quite strong students, and so this you know, like point of view of that kind of teachers, they are completely insane, and I think it's unbelievably unfair. And maybe it is also something connected with corruption, because if you want to have better mark, you should pay. I don't know what is the way of thinking of such a people, but it is said it is really unfair. Schedule: the first, second year and the fourth and fifth years of education, the schedule is normal, but the third, the specificity of the university is that the departments are located all over the city of Kiev, and it is in the third year that you need to write the most across the city. Who do the schedule, they give only, for example, 40 minutes for that road from one end of the Kiev to another, and it's so it's not enough time. For example, if the road takes 50 minutes and they give only 40 minutes, you cannot be on time, you know, on the next lesson, because there is no time at all. So paperwork, it is another story. Now, in the age of computer technology, we need to write everything by hand. Actually, it has happened in our university too, because some people, they demand write by hand some answers. I said before that our teachers, even young teachers, they say that if you're writing by hand, you remember the material better. I don't think that, yes, we can remember better. I agree, but we just have no time. In medical university, you always have no time, and it takes so much time that I think it's not worth of it to spend a lot of time just writing. It was 10 years ago, but nothing changed. And you see that actually this review is mostly the same, and we have in our university almost the same thing, but I think that with corruption I wouldn't compare it, because our university less corrupted, I may say. And so let's read other reviews. It is a review of some mom. Her son studied medicine in National Medical University of Bogomolets, and he graduated 5 years ago. It's like more fresh review, and her name of her review is below average, would not recommend to anyone. So it is too negative, and she gave 1 star out of 5 stars. So it means that she thinks this university is really very bad. What advantages? Located in the capital, beautiful university with a world name. Disadvantages: teachers and attitude to students. Not providing a hostel for non-residents of the Kiev. I really want to leave a review about this university. I am the mother of the former, thanks God, student, and I want to write my opinion about this university. My son studied for a year in this university. We were very glad that he was accepted here, although there were offers from other universities in Ukraine. He tried to study, but there was everything. Joy and sorrow, of course, was very difficult morally. I just do not even put into words. About the financial side, I will talk later. When I read on the forums reviews about the teacher staff of the university, about their attitude to students, I did not take it seriously, because I was sure that it will not affect us, because my son is a sociable and non-conflicted person, very open, and of course we were ready for the difficulties of learning. But when these difficulties were created specifically, so they make children feel depressed in general from the first day of learning, and they say, you will not study here, I will do my best so that you do not study here, and excuse me, and where is the morality, medical ethics, understanding, and the most important in the in the medical practice? Students learn everything. In 90% of materials they learn by themselves, and teachers don't want to teach. Actually, they don't want to tell anything, and it's the same situation I told you. And now she gives an advice. Dear future students of this university, if you still decide to come here, be prepared for the fact that no matter how hard you try to study, without tails, they will tails, it means if you cannot pass some exam, it stays like debt. They will definitely come out after each semester, after each quarter and of the year, and they will explain in department, in Dian, that it's some failure in the electronic system, and you will not prove anything to anyone. In this case, you will either have to run after the teachers and ask them to take these tails again, so to ask to pass this exam again, to get rid of that debts, but not the fact that they will close this your debts simply because the teacher does not want to take this tails from you, or she will always be busy, or he, and so you should solve it by use that corruption, or you just pay the dean's office, and that supervisor of the group doesn't care about you at all. No one will inform you that you have any problems with exams, that there was some failure in that system and you don't have any mark, and you just have to do something. They just may tell that you have a problems and you will be eliminated without any explanations. And the other review, it is connected actually with issues of corruption in this university. And this anonymous person calls her or his review horror that lasts for 6 years. Let's read about this horror. As for me, probably the disadvantages is corruption, lack of base, practical base. Here she means about the university do not give knowledge, and the university is terrible. Corruption is sacred here. It will accompany the student or entrant from the moment of admission to graduation. In more than 50% of departments, they are directly involved in these extortions and of the money. They call for the head of the group, each group of students, and tell her that in order to pass the exam or test, it is necessary for each student to help the department from $50, and the amounts were up to $300 and $400. Despite the fact it is for 1 mark. Despite the fact that the department was last repaired during the Soviet Union. I don't know how to comment this because I never had it, and so maybe there was such things in National Medical University, but maybe it was just once, because I don't believe that there is all teachers such greedy for money, and each mark will cost for $300 or $400. The Department of Physical Education is a separate issue. I went to class every time. Well, at the end of the year, the glorious name of this teacher turned out that I didn't go to more than 2/3 of the classes. Teacher of physical training, despite that this student was present on every lesson, this teacher put marked there that on that 70% of classes she was absent. And actually it's a huge hint, and it marks the corruption that this physical training, you understand that physical training, it's not some important for medical future doctor, medical student subject, physical training. But this teacher demands money, and she gives she marks that this person was absent, and if this person was absent in 70% of the trainings, so she will have a lot of problems. She will be close to elimination from the university because of the physical training. I think it is one of the direction how the teachers may create this corruption, make students pay them for nothing actually, because she put that she was absent, and so this person will be very scared, very upset. But I think that in most cases she cannot prove anything. Maybe if her group mates will say that she was actually present, but in most cases, in such cases, nothing happens, and this person just pay, and that's all. And so teachers, they are like support each other. The department, they support each other, and students, they are like opposite team. And if some teacher are corrupted and everyone know about it, you will have no person who will judge this situation and will be fair. So it is the problem of Ukrainian medical system and actually educational system, that if students they have subjects with some mean, greedy teachers, they may do anything to make you pay. The students is not protected. He or she have no any instruments for defense. So it is a problem, and actually it's not solved yet. In general, the most of the teachers, they are good. They do not demand money. They are fair. but some of them, maybe, you know, some small percent of such people, because in any country, in any, you know, part of the world, not all people are good. So these people, they understand, they won't be punished. If this teacher want to get money, he or she will get them. Who are teachers of, you know, physical training, they may even get money from the students. Another review, also an anonymous person, short review, and it calls corrupt establishment. So advantages missing, disadvantages, the whole university is a complete minus. Killer university. Children are thrown out of windows, and servants of human house continue to demand $450 per one exam. How long it will last? Children who really like medicine, teachers, they are, you know, destroy any desire to learn medicine. Attitude towards students as to cattle. It's really rude, but this person may write such things. Another review, the terrible attitude towards students. The base is 0. The marks are put from the ceiling. Let's read. Education is 0. Corruption, total corruption. Attitude towards students is 0. Non-residents do not settle without some, you know, payment. I mean, not official payment. And the special, how it calls, the second, dormitories, because every state university and even not state, they have their dormitories with a low payment. So let's read about this. It seems that the teachers were recruited according to the announcement. They teach badly. Teachers, especially young, leave practical classes and return at the end of the class with the words, "To all who are present is D, and if you don't want to have D, you may retake and try to pass again it." Again, there was no any first time. I cannot comment it. I don't know. I never had that in my university. There are generally inadequate teachers who are already over 60 years old and not all right with their heads. Sometimes maybe I can believe in that. Hostel only, it means dormitories only for payment, unofficial payment. We are currently studying remotely due to quarantine, so it is one of the freshest reviews. It's 2020 year, so it's 1 year ago. The site works badly, and they give 1 million of tests for half of an hour. It is true. Some of our teacher, for example, on biochemistry, there's also maybe 100 or 60 tests, and you should write it for 40 minutes. It's like less than 1 minute per one question. We have such a problem in our university too sometimes. Sometimes the most stupid students get A mark and the best students get D mark. So they do not check the home tasks and actually the tests. I don't think that every teacher could be, such unresponsible. They don't think about students at all. Nobody cares about them. There is nowhere to complain. In colleges, the education and attitude towards students better than is in this garbage dump. So one word, it is the gang, not university. Having studied here for 4 years, I can say one thing. There are zero chances for normal medicine with such an education. So you understand that Ukraine have a lot of problems still, and if our president was changed, it doesn't mean that our whole system, and you know that everything in each university was changed completely. A lot of things are stayed as it was before, and so corruption, unfortunately, there are things and bad teachers, and they may influence and attack, you know, students by any means, to make them scary, to make them unconfident in material, to make them you know, to make them pay, actually be scared of elimination, and to make them pay. General impression: terrible attitude towards students. The base, practical base, is 0. Marks are put from the selling, as I said on the very beginning. 1 star out of 5 stars. Okay, it is a young mother from Odessa and her positive review. It's first positive review, and I wanted to find such a review because I think that not all students could have such a bad impression. One of the strongest universities in Ukraine. Advantages: quality of education, qualified teachers, and training, learning facilities. Disadvantages: dormitories and tuition fees. National Medical University, named after Alexander Bogomolets, is located almost in the very center of the capital of Ukraine. The main building is located on the Pobeda Avenue, near the metro station, underground station, Polytechnic Institute. Here, beside the main morphological building, there are also such as physical, chemical, sanitary, hygienic, and dental buildings, as well as gym and library. And the territory is very beautiful. Everything is surrounded by a high fence with 3 or 4 different entrances. There is also another building, pharmaceutical, my own. It is located in Pushkinskaya Street 22, near Teatralna metro station. In the National Medical University of Alexander Bogomolets, studies are divided into the following faculty: general medicine, pediatrics, military medicine, sanitary doctors, pharmaceuticals, and dentistry. There is an opportunity to study for foreign students, and they do not omit its opportunity. There are a lot of them there. For training and strong base for training, for learning, had been created. For training, a strong base had been created, both theoretical and practical basis. Anatomy is studied on the real embalmed bodies of people who gave his agreement. In the departments of chemistry, and there are not 1, not 2, or even 3 of them: biological, organic, inorganic, physical, colloidal, toxicological kinds of chemistry. There are many reagents, special equipment, and laboratories, and conducting various chemical reactions. And the Department of Pharmacy and Industrial production of medicines, students study all the technologies for the production of various dosage forms, tablets, suppositories, etc., and put it into practice. Everything is very interesting. Well, I I think that this review was written by by some staff from this university, because it's like some list we invite you to study here. I don't believe that it's some person, some student created this review. Wow, another good review. I hope this review will look like, more not fake but more real. The name of this review is Decent University with a Good Teaching Base. Advantages: good knowledges, good teachers. Disadvantages: there is none of them. Good afternoon, dear applicants and their parents. I would like to share with you my impression about one of the best universities in Ukraine, NMU of Bogomolets. I graduated from university a year ago and want to share my impressions. I entered in university in 2009, and from that moment I started a wonderful life. I entered Bogomolets based on the results of ZNO and without any extra payment, unofficial payment that everyone is talking about. It is all a lie. You can do it yourself from the contract and the budget, and it means like for free or with official payment. And my friends themselves came and entered, and 80% of them went to the budget. It means they study for free. It is really very hard to study until the 6th year, when your former classmates go out for a walk. You should spend all time in university and learn a lot. Well, if you go to the classes, you don't miss it, and you learn everything and pass it by yourself. You cannot miss any class. From the 2nd and the 3rd year, you start to drive around the city. The 3rd year is generally all of that in roads, and classes are in the different parts of the city. There is no such examination session that was before in the 1st and 2nd year, but there is a module. After the 3rd course, Croc 1 is given. Step 1 is like a general exam for every medical student of Ukraine. On the 6th year, clinical departments and cycles began. It is much easier and very interesting. After each cycle, you hand over the module, and you have to pass this module and receive a mark. As you know, study for 6 years. Croc 2, step 2 is given up, and after it is the 6th year, as I said, and you have to pass state exams. If you pass all, you graduate with like a certificate specialist, like a doctor. This university has wonderful teachers. They give both in knowledge and practice. The teaching base in Bogomolets is one of the most worthy. Teachers are worthy and give directions to life. They are still wonderful people and will never leave you in trouble. Great deans. I won't say who is the best, I don't know, but the reviews of all are very good. A European diploma is also very important, and even bigger plus is that you can transfer from faculty to faculty. You sign a contract for studies for 6 years, and you are calm that the price will not be increased. We have many foreign students studying at our university, which means that our university is known all over the world. And our specialists from departments our graduates can be proud of. The university takes part in various world conferences, and even very smart students can participate in them, and the departments will still help in this. The profession of a doctor is very responsible, and he must put a lot of effort into his students. So think and make the right decisions. You can become a good doctor. Good luck with your admission. I don't know. I feel like these positive reviews, they are fake, because they gave a lot of positive words about this university, but there is no any details, there is no any personal stories why this person thinks that this university is the best, why he thinks or she, because it's anonymous, I don't know what it is, who it is. I feel like they are fake. It looks like some staff from university to support, the honor of this university, to give some positive reviews. They want to, keep a balance, and sometimes they write these positive reviews, because I'm reading this and I don't believe this. Sorry, maybe you have different opinion. It is last review. Let's read it, and I think that it's enough. Well, the name of this review, this person also anonymous, without any name, and writes from Germany. Get ready for difficulties. I think it's very honest and correct name of for all medical students, because medical education is really difficult. But anyway, let's read what he or she means. Advantages, nothing. Advantages: prestigious. There is a dental center with a full range of services and the opportunity to receive treatment for free from students. Disadvantages: they do not think about students. I think they means teachers and departments. The schedule of classes and travel time are not fit, and I spent 4 years at the university. The first 2 years was normal, and the third was terrible. The fourth was better, and they put classes at random. They can put 2 or 4 class a day. My September the 1st, of course, consisted of 4 classes, and this means that you get up before dawn and come home when it's already dark. So you spend whole day in university. It was difficult me to do everything and do not sleep for days, and I felt like it could ruin my health. And actually it's not an option for me, such a life. The third year consisted of completely of trips across the city. The most ridiculous schedule, for example, 1 lesson and KPI, it's actually its main campus. Second class on Petro-Zaporozhets Street, and the third lesson again at KPI, it's main campus. So you have to sit for 1 hour in main campus, then get to, you know, other part of the city and sit there for 2nd hour and during the 2nd lesson, and then you have to return to the main campus and sit the 3rd lesson. So you understand, you just have to and the most of the students complain why they cannot do 2 lessons in main campus and the last lesson or 1st lesson, you know, in different place. But it's common situation, yes. Yes, she writes that there is no time for this road. They give just 40 minutes, but it's not enough. Or even 20 minutes when it takes in reality 40 or 50 minutes. And they give just 20 minutes for this road. And some teachers, they do not accept any excuses. We were lucky for the most part of the teachers, and they taught something and they were interesting, these teachers, but do not expect a special practical skills. If you yourself don't climb into the don't try to find your practice somewhere in some hospital, so you won't know anything. So you have to search for some departments, some hospital, and in private, you know, way, and ask the head of department to be present, you know, on some weekends there to learn something from practice. It happens all the semester. You just almost all day you wrote tests, and you saw only 1 patient or 2 for whole semester. It means one part of the year, and educational year. And they came to the module, and these teachers, as I understand, they told us to hand over the practical part, that is to conduct the examination and diagnostic manipulation. How I'm supposed to do this, I just only know how to write tests. So there is no any practice, but they demand to pass examination. You have to show something what you can do. And she said that she just can write tests because there is was no any practical training in university. And how that student may know this, may get these practical knowledges. Separately about the faculty of dentistry, a huge plus of the opportunity to work with the patients starting from the 3rd course, 3rd year, but we learn a lot in old way. All over the world there are already other qualifications and other manipulations, and we are taught those they are already 50 years old. It is customary to treat in one way, but we are told to do it in a different way, which has long been considered less elective. Some diagnostic methods are outdated, but we still actively write them out, and yes, much has to be bought by ourselves. And in the dental world, a lot of things cost a lot of money. Students should buy and spend their own money. For example, if there must be some medical instruments or I don't know, some materials or anything else, for example, even paper for some departments, and these teachers may say that students must buy a paper or buy me some instruments. And actually when we had the first class connected with subject connected with surgery, and the teacher first couple sentences was about the class, and she said that you see that on that poster with instruments there is lack of some scissors and surgical scissors, and if someone will buy for us this from students these scissors, it will be plus for him. Of course it won't be a plus, but actually sometimes students spend their all money for they don't have to do this, like tweezers or for surgical departments. I think it's not right, because it's a problem of university, and a lot of students, they pay for they or officially pay for their education. Why they should buy anything to university more? Well, as for corruption, well, let's read the last sentences. As for corruption, for all my studies at the university, I only had to pay once. I passed the rest of the sessions and exams on time, and I did not go beyond 2 attempts, because we have 2 attempts to repass each exam, and after will be elimination. If the head it's not empty of the student, you can take everything yourself, you can learn everything yourself, and no one force you to pay. All through when I was going to the act, there was a man who said that if you don't pay, then everyone will peck you a white crow, and your life will turn into hell. Nothing like this. True. It is at the STOMAT dentistry faculty that, of course, there are a lot of rich people, and if you are tight with money, you will feel embarrassed. But no one has ever reproached me to do this, to pay. And actually it is true, because as I said you at the very beginning, first or second review, that this corruption caused by students that cannot or don't want to learn everything. If you try, if you learn everything, if you know the material, it will be hard for teacher who even wants to get some unofficial money from you. It really will be hard for him or her to do this, because actually you know the material. Of course there are some maybe 1 or 2 not that honest person, not that honest teacher. They may give you bad marks instead of marks you deserve. They will give you that you was absent on the lesson, and if you was present, but it happens so rarely. And this girl's right that she paid only once, because the teacher just impudently demand that money. And as we don't have any protection, the students don't have any protection, in such cases they usually scare it, and they usually pay. So I must say that what is my conclusion about this, about National Medical University of Bogomolets? It is still respected in society, it has glory. And one of the plus of this university that it's situated in the capital, so it means that there are more possibilities for any student, for work, for rest, for anything. And the other thing that there is a lot of buildings, a lot of possibilities to work with real humans' bodies. But there is corruption, definitely, because a lot of people write about it, and I heard about it a lot of times. And if you have lack of knowledges, if you don't want to study really hard, actually you will pay, because you will be weak students, and you will be scared, and your parents will be scared of elimination, and for them it will be better to go to some certain teacher and to pay for some D mark unofficially. But for students who actually smart, who want to learn and learn hardly, it's very hard to make them pay. Of course, it could happen once or twice for 6 years, because unfortunately the tradition of corruption in medical education is huge, unfortunately, because it's really prestigious specialty. It is very hard to become a doctor, and so the people who use this situation, they actually have all possibilities to do this, and so there is no any regulation of that relationships, and there is no any things connected with laws, how to prove when the student want to prove that it's not fair. Sometimes it's impossible, and such people, they use this situation, unfortunately. But as you understand, every country, every branch of the knowledges and university have some small percentage of unfair, bad teachers, and some of them just like to make students scared of them. I think maybe they're just a little bit, like this situation, to feel the power, and maybe it's not just connected with money sometimes, and actually they get extra payment, unfortunately. As I say, the problem of Ukraine, it's lack of the laws, regulation, and laws, they exist only sometimes on the paper. If it connects with of all country, the law may work, because the crowd of the people, like on Maidan, they may demand, and they make government change their decision. But in the local situations, like some university or a school, some of not honest people, they still have power. The law is not perfect enough. Sometimes it doesn't work, and so it causes such a thing like corruption. But all said, and actually I heard it a lot, that Ukraine had the government have to change the laws, and actually this system of the laws and of the judgment, and it should be on the state level and on the local level, and if there will be a regulation, I'm sure students will use this right to try to prove that the teacher was wrong. And if we are taking state university, there is less regulation, because private universities actually they exist for money of the students, so students may demand a little bit more. And such as universities like National Medical Bogomolets universities, it's state universities, and teachers, they don't receive salary from the students' money, so they're independent, and so there's this gap between the teachers and students. It's more huge, and students have less rights. So I think it's not very positive video, but I wanted to talk about it. I think it's very important topic to talk, and to make you understand what happens in Ukrainian medical and actually educational system, and why there exists corruption, and how we can change it. And I think that Ukraine now changed a lot. A lot of branches of society, social life change, And I hope that actually this problem with justice will be solved. It cannot be like on the next day after Maidan everything will be different. No, a lot of interactions between people, they are traditional, and the traditions, they are live long. Unfortunately, bad traditions too.